It's a TV.
Banks and banks of humming machinery. I've never seen so many knobs. Here, try that button over there. No. Check that button over there.
Another random thing I picked up. This is the JC Penney MCS series TV. I think it's only a black and white TV. It has some sort of scope in it. Power switch. Some knobs. I don't know. Let's plug it in and find out what it does. Hopefully that's in focus. Now, I've got it plugged in. Oh, it was on. Well, it turns on. The funky green screen. Alright. I have no idea. Oh, well, it's got a picture. It's a little flickery and weird. Oh, you can turn the picture on and off. I don't have an audio input put into it. It doesn't look very balanced there. Look, TV. Still a little bouncy. Obviously, we don't get TV around here. So, what in the... Okay. Well, that's random. There's something hooked up to it. Wow, you have to crank all of this stuff. I think this thing's getting a little bit tired. I can see it shaking a bit. It's really... Oop, see? Like that. Ooh. This is the most random thing. I have no idea what that's. Huh. Well, okay then. The way that's sort of like, yeah, it's telling me he's a little bit tired. That, I guess, let's see what's inside. So there's some sort of weird thing in there. There you go. Well, that's inside. A mess. Oh, okay. Well, that makes some sense. Looks like someone shoved a bunch of stuff inside here. Some sort of HDMI to RF thing. Let me just get this out of here. Remember, there's high voltage in here, and there's a lot of loose wires everywhere. This is a bit crazy. Oh, there's even more down here. Now this is taped in. How are these? What? They're like soldered into place. Okay, we don't need that. Oh, what does that go to? Oh, okay. It's right near the flyback transformer. I don't want to get too close to that right now. Thank you. What in the... Oh, it's like a Chromecast. What a mess. I mean, otherwise, looking in here, looks fairly original. Yeah. Well, let me... Okay, that comes out. That's zip tied to that. That goes into Oh, there's something else in here. Another power. A little hard to see. I'm sure you guys can't see it. Let me get my phone out to show this part. Looks like these adapters, cheapy things, are just soldered directly into the main board here, the power board. Yep, directly to the AC in. That's wrong. So unsafe. All right, let me get those desoldered. Get them the heck out of there. I have to figure out how that. Get this. Well, there goes that original label. Oop, that's connected to something. Audio extractor. For what? I don't know. There's no speaker or anything in this. So what you need an audio extractor for, I have no idea. With a big blob of solder. Oh, there we go. Yeah. They're just tacked in place. It's not how you do things. Yeah, there you go. I don't know how well you can see that, but that's just shoved in a little hole in the plug and blobs of solder squished onto it. Non-UL listed random power supplies too. Totally unsafe. And then yeah, this guy's just tacked in here as well. Let's see about getting that out of here. See it like on a... Oop. Well, okay. To do a little bit of recapping, just to make this thing, hopefully make this thing operate a little bit better. Alright, I'm gonna see about getting the back off. And I will come back later. Turn back on here and show it wasn't too horribly difficult to disassemble. There's one screw holding this board in to the back plate, and then 4 screws holding the back plate in, and then you can see here that just a couple clips here to hold these wires that are just holding these wires, and you can kind of put them off to the side and get that out of the way. So you have access to the entire thing. And this board looks like it slides out. Alright, this has had time to discharge. So I was able to get this guy off. Now we'll start replacing the caps. I noticed some of the ones in the back, wires wrapped around there. There we go. This cap in here is got some expansion happening. This one's starting to kind of push off of its base. So there are some that are starting to fail. I figured out this guy right here. This is the audio amplifier. This is where the cabinet speaker would normally plug in. So I may look around and see if I've got something to replace it. My biggest concern is it should be a whatchamacallit, magnetically shielded to not affect the picture tube, but this one definitely, this one has expanded down in here, and it's looking a little, it was sitting right here, right next to all the hot stuff, so this one's definitely gone. So I'm going to replace that one, but I'm going to go through, replace a bunch of these, and for the most part the markings, and so far that I've seen, the markings on the board match. A little white spot is the negative, but always check, because sometimes the silk screening is wrong. So it's good to double check before you take a cap out to see which way it's pointing. But anyhow, I'm going to get started on this and come back later when I've made some progress. That's the workbench full of capacitors. So these are all capacitors, this whole batch. There's 15 that have all leaked. So these have definitely failed. And once a capacitor has started leaking, it's had failed quite some time ago. So keep that in mind. Whereas these ones, we've got 16 that haven't leaked yet. But I'm willing to bet a large portion of these are no longer operating properly. As well, if you want to look at these guys, you can see, well, maybe, this thing doesn't really focus that well, how much darker this one is. They're exactly the same capacitor. This one was in a warm spot in the device, and of course underneath it had overheated, and there's a little scorch mark on the board as well. This one right here, this little guy, there was a scorch mark underneath the board on this one as well. So these had long since failed and were overheating and just a mess. So for this one, because it is in an area that gets quite hot, it's right next to the tube, I put in a 105 degree Celsius capacitor, and the only thing I had near this rating was 1500 at 50 volts. So that should give it more than enough capacity and resilience to handle the heat. And there is a big beefy replacement. And you can see the rest of the replacements in here. Put this out of the way. Replace all these guys. As you can see, I still have it apart because there's one more thing I want to do before I button everything up, other than cleaning. I'm going to show you right now. Get this plugged back in. Checking to make sure nothing's touching or hitting an area where it shouldn't. It is not. That's on. Now, it is working considerably better than it had been before. The picture's much more stable. It's much sharper, edge to edge. It's just working a whole lot better. But what I want to show you is in the waveform mode. So someone had previously put in a couple of LEDs on either side, and they're quite bright. I like the green. It works well on the little screen that goes in there. Well, messing around with it, I actually killed this one because there's a bunch of bare metal showing, and the screen itself has the reflectors are metal, so I zapped it. So you can see it kind of makes the little lines in there. But after doing a little experimenting, I don't like that it's reflecting on the screen that much, so I found a 5mm LED will fit in this little hole right here perfectly. Thing that they put in that already has all the components needed to change, you know, AC, DC, and bring the voltage down. I tested. I put a regular LED right up against the contacts there, and it lit it up just fine. So this will work with a regular LED. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the board that this is getting power from and solder this in, and then take the LEDs off and put some leads on this so that we can hook up some wires directly to this and have this be our little LED converter board that we can tuck away, and then I can just put a single LED bulb in here and either have it go directly in here, just like the light bulb probably did, or I'm going to put 3mm in so it can get a little bit in and aim it directly into the plexiglass of that screen. This is actually the wave amp board, and these are the power for the lights. There was two more in here. I just desoldered them out of there, And then I need to get this connected to here, and then I'm going to strip this one and get it connected there so it's sort of in line. So I've got to pop these guys off. So get this under here and sort of just lift and pop. It really doesn't have to be connected. It just has to be like electrically connected to one, but I just want to make sure it stays in place. It's connected. Let's do the other side. And now we hope that it works, because I'm going to, oh, I can't cover this yet, can I? I have to hook it up to this first. We're all hooked up, and now I gotta get a big piece of tubing. Pull all these wires through. That'll be fun. Let's see if it's big enough to make it over there, or do I need an even bigger one? Does it make it over the device? Burly. Hopefully it doesn't ruin any of our solder joints. I don't want to put any tension on any of them. Cross fingers that this works. There we go. Light it up. Okay. This needs a little more fire. Fire. Alright. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, well, it'll be a sad, sad day. I think that's working pretty well. I know it's camera's making it quite a bit brighter. Once I get things and put all together, I'm going to put a little more blackout stuff around here so it doesn't come out as much, but it's not reflecting on the screen so much. Let me turn off the screen here. You can definitely see, and then I think that looks pretty cool. Don't think it has a lot of hours on it, but yeah, it works. It's not perfect. It's got some wibbly wobblies in there and stuff like that, so it's a little tired, but it's working a lot better than it had been. So there you go. Now I'm going to show you what my plan. This is my PCM 501ES that converts digital audio into a composite video signal. I record onto a VCR. So this is playing back tape, and this is what's actually on the tape. And then I've also just got it hooked up to the audio output. I know there's no sound, but this is all copyrighted stuff. So, and then you get your output. So that's the whole system. Let me zoom in on the screen itself here. I have noticed that there is a little bit of an issue with the display. It's not perfect, but oh well. There is the digital music being played. And then we can go over. There's our waveform. Oop. There's our digital music being played. Now it looks like static, but there it is. That is CD quality sound. You can kind of see how it dances around with different different tones and different stuff. So that's kind of cool. Gives it a little bit of a purpose here. Digital audio, analog audio. Digital audio, analog audio.